The 170-year-old intact corpse has just been discovered, causing a sensation among archaeologists. Science has helped us answer countless puzzling questions, from fascinating natural phenomena to the mysteries of the vast universe. However, there are still many strange things in this world that even the most brilliant scientists have struggled for decades to solve. One of these is the miraculous preservation of ancient corpses, mysterious tombs, and magnificent ancient cities that challenge every theory about decay and the passage of time. Why do these relics remain astonishingly intact, despite having survived for thousands of years? Could there be some mystical factor preserving them? Or will new discoveries help us better understand life and death in the past? All these questions will be uncovered in today's video. Let's explore these timeless mysteries that science has yet to fully explain. The 170-year-old intact corpse. In a construction site in Queens, New York, a strange event occurred that left not only the workers but also the police stunned. While working, the laborers discovered an intricately carved iron coffin buried deep in the ground. Upon opening the coffin, they found the body of a young woman in a state of decomposition, seemingly having passed away just a few days earlier. This sign led the police to suspect that the woman might have been the victim of a recent murder or missing persons case. However, the results from forensic experts revealed a shocking truth. The woman's body showed no signs of recent death, but had actually been deceased for 170 years, dating back to the 19th century. This became even more mysterious when researchers confirmed that the body had not been embalmed, yet remained remarkably intact, as if time had forgotten it. The miraculous preservation of the body prompted intervention from archaeologists, as they stated that no similar case had ever been recorded before. The woman's skin remained so well preserved that traces of smallpox were visible on her forehead and chest, marks that could only be associated with diseases from ancient times. After examination and being transferred to an archaeological institution, a formal ritual was conducted for the young woman. While no one was alive to identify her, her family had previously respected special burial rites, placing her in an airtight coffin, believing that it would protect her from the ravages of time. Indeed, even after nearly 2 centuries, her body remained a mysterious symbol, a story without a complete answer about the miraculous preservation of corpses from the past. This strange story not only raised scientific questions, but also made us ponder the unsolved mysteries of history, where stories thought to be forever forgotten have come back to life in a mysterious way. 9,000-year-old skull, encased in asphalt. When excavating the Nahal Himar archaeological site in the Judean desert of southern Israel, scientists were perplexed to discover 3 intact skulls preserved by being encased in asphalt. After analysis, they found that these skulls dated back to 7000 BC. The arid conditions of the Judean desert had helped the organic materials preserve better than in most other parts of the world. As a result, the skulls were in excellent condition, particularly the 3 that were encased in asphalt, which also served as a protective shield against the ravages of time. According to researchers, the practice of encasing skulls in asphalt was a way to honor the deceased, linked to ancestor worship. These skulls likely belonged to revered ancestors or individuals particularly loved by the family. The skulls may have also symbolized a family's claim over a specific territory. This was during the early Neolithic period, when population growth led to intense land competition. Additionally, within the Nahal Himar cave, archaeologists discovered stone masks dating back about 9,000 years, believed to be the oldest in the world. These masks had holes to thread strings through, allowing them to be tied to posts or affixed to other surfaces. Some of the masks showed similar features such as pronounced cheekbones, sunken temples, and eye sockets, resembling the skulls found in the cave. This suggests that these stone masks were modeled after the faces of the deceased and were used in funeral rituals. During the transition from hunting and gathering to farming and herding, people who had no written language asserted land ownership through ancestor inheritance rituals, performing ceremonies to honor the deceased and reenacting the images of their ancestors. As a result, they created these masks to represent their ancestors. The 4,800-year-old skeleton of a mother holding her child. While excavating a prehistoric mass burial site of indigenous people in Taiwan, archaeologists discovered the remains of a young mother and her child. According to Reuters, they were among 48 skeletons neatly arranged, found in 2014. These archaeological findings are the earliest evidence of human activity discovered in central Taiwan. However, what captured the attention of the archaeologists was the skeletons of the mother and child. Dr. Chu Wei Li, the head and director of the Department of Anthropology at the National Museum of Natural Science in Taiwan, stated that during the excavation, all the archaeologists and staff were shocked by this discovery. The mother was found looking down at her child, held in her left arm. The woman was a young adult, approximately 20 to 25 years old, and stood at 1.6 meters tall. She was holding a baby in her left arm, bent over, gazing at the child. Initially, archaeologists believed the child may have died due to premature birth. However, after analyzing the bones and noting the child's height of 50 centimeters, it was concluded that the baby was about 6 months old, and both the mother and child might have died together. However, the exact cause of their deaths and what happened afterward remains a mystery. Artifacts in the Palace of Queen Cleopatra. While diving off the coast near Alexandria, Egypt, divers discovered many precious artifacts from the ruins of a temple complex and palace belonging to Queen Cleopatra, one of the most famous figures of the ancient world. Using advanced technology, the lead diver, French underwater archaeologist Frank Godillot, studied the royal quarter of ancient Alexandria, located beneath the harbor's sediment layers, and confirmed the accuracy of descriptions made by ancient Greek geographers and historians about a city that existed more than 2,000 years ago. They uncovered a variety of artifacts, from coins and daily items to large granite statues depicting Egyptian kings and submerged temples once dedicated to the gods. The royal quarter of Alexandria, including harbors, a promontory, islands with several shrines, palaces, and military complexes, sank to the seabed following devastating earthquakes around the 4th and 8th centuries. Godillot's research team discovered the sunken city in 1996. Many of its treasures remain intact, preserved by the sediment that shielded them from the salty seawater. On May 25th, divers explored the temple and palace ruins where Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, had captivated Roman general Mark Antony before the couple committed suicide after Egypt was conquered by Rome. The divers discovered the site where Cleopatra and Antony had once lived. They also found a large stone head statue believed to be of Caesarion, Cleopatra's son, with her former lover Julius Caesar, along with 2 Sphinx statues, one of which may represent Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy XII, as well as many other artifacts. These artifacts, discovered along the Egyptian coast, will be displayed at the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia in an exhibition titled Cleopatra: The Search for the Last Queen of Egypt. Ancient ceremonial chariot. At a villa in the outskirts of Civita Juliana, located 700 meters north of the ancient city walls of Pompeii, archaeologists discovered an ancient Roman ceremonial chariot, remarkably well preserved. This large 4-wheeled chariot is adorned with beautifully crafted bronze and tin decorations, along with mineralized wooden pieces and impressions of organic materials, ranging from ropes to floral and leaf decorations, all in nearly perfect condition. Earlier, in 2018, archaeologists had also found 3 horse skeletons at the same site, one of which had a horseshoe. This discovery is particularly significant, not only because it adds to the history of this villa and the final moments of the lives of those who lived there, but also because it deepens our understanding of the ancient world. Most importantly, it represents a unique and unprecedented find in Italy, preserved in such an exceptional condition. From the beginning, the excavation of the area where the chariot was found revealed its extraordinary nature. The site in question was actually a 2-story portico opening into an uncovered courtyard, with a wooden ceiling made from carbonized oak beams, which was remarkably well preserved. A meticulous excavation was carried out due to the fragile nature of the materials, requiring the expertise of specialists in wood and metal to preserve the chariot's axle and base, as well as the impressions left by the ropes. With the excavation completed, the chariot's parts were transferred to the laboratory, where conservators removed the petrified lava and began restoring the chariot. Massimo Osana, acting director of the archaeological site, stated, "This is a very unique discovery that expands our understanding of the ancient world." He also confirmed that this was a ceremonial chariot, sometimes referred to as a palentum in ancient sources, used not for daily transport or agricultural purposes, but for processions, parades, and religious ceremonies. The intact shipwreck after 2,000 years. During an underwater robot survey of Bulgaria's coastline, the team discovered a shipwreck fleet. Most of the ships, originating from Roman, Greek, and Ottoman civilizations, were perfectly preserved. The Black Sea, with its near-total lack of light, oxygen, and minimal marine life, means that organisms that decompose wood are absent, creating ideal conditions for preserving shipwrecks in nearly their original state. Many of the ships were still standing, their rudders intact, and numerous pieces of equipment and cargo remained on deck. On a 2,000-year-old Roman ship, researchers even found the ropes still intact, with some ships previously only seen in ancient murals. All the artifacts discovered by the team have been meticulously recreated using the world's most detailed 3D printing technology. According to Professor John Adams of the University of Southampton, the Black Sea Map Project is now completing the third season of its research, having surveyed over 1,300 kilometers, collected 100 sediment core samples, and discovered 20 new shipwrecks, in addition to the 40 already found. From the data and materials collected, the research team can reconstruct ancient environmental changes and better understand the impact of these changes on the populations in the region at the time. Giant handprints, carved deep into stone. We can learn something about the lives of our distant ancestors through the traces they left behind on stone slabs and cave walls, which can still be seen today. The petroglyphs at White Mountain are a powerful testament to the lives of Native American tribes who lived there between 200 and 1,000 years ago. In addition to hundreds of carved images in the area, there are also massive handprints etched into the stone. The location of these petroglyphs is in the Red Desert of Wyoming, which was once home to Native American tribes. The rock carvings and hieroglyphs are windows into the past, providing us with data and insight into the lives of those who created them. The carvings at this site, including handprints, are some of the most tangible links we have with the Great Basin Native Americans who lived there from 200 to 1,000 years ago, including the Shoshone, Arapaho, and Ute tribes. These petroglyphs tell us much about the beliefs and culture of the people who lived there hundreds of years ago and beyond. Some of the carvings depict bison hunts and moose hunts. The stone also shows images of bison and wild horses. In addition to animals, there are many interesting geometric shapes and small footprints decorating the surface of the stone. Although little is known about the meanings of these shapes or symbols in the past, Native Americans still regard them as sacred symbols. They feel a connection to nature and a sense of positivity when visiting these places. According to a Native American elder, these symbols have great significance and a communal meaning for them. They feel that the stones are alive and connected to them. However, the most mysterious feature of the site is the deeply embedded handprints in the solid sandstone, as if someone mysteriously softened the stone and pressed their hands into it. According to historians, the handprints were created by the Eastern Shoshone tribes around 1000 to 1800 AD. Since then, thousands of people have continued to make similar movements with their hands on the sandstone, which has created the deep handprint effect. 3,000-year-old tomb in the Peruvian Highlands. Archaeologists have recently uncovered an ancient tomb in northern Peru, which may have been the burial site of a religious leader around 3,000 years ago. The remains buried in the tomb have been named the priest of Pacoampati. The priest was buried beneath 6 layers of ash mixed with dark earth, along with several decorated ceramic bowls and floral seals on the body, which were ritualistic items used for people of high social status. The scientists also discovered 2 unique seals along the upper edge of the tomb. One seal resembles a human face facing east, while the other depicts a jaguar and faces west. Archaeologist Yuji Seki, the project leader, explained that the tomb is unusually large, measuring nearly 2 meters in diameter and 1 meter deep. Additionally, the body was buried in a very unique position, lying face down with its feet crossed. Among the remains, archaeologists also found a tupu, a large pin used by the native people of the Andes to fasten their cloaks. However, tupus were typically used by women. According to Seki, even though the individual buried in the tomb was male, the items associated with him are particularly special, and this person may have been a leader of his time. Analysis and dating of the tomb's stone layers suggest that this priest may have been buried around 1200 BC. Four Roman swords, dating back 1,900 years. Archaeologists have discovered 4 Roman swords, dating back 1,900 years, in a cave overlooking the Dead Sea in Israel. The weapons cache was found after scientists returned to the cave to study a stalactite bearing ancient Hebrew inscriptions, where they also discovered several related artifacts. The 4 swords were found in a nearly inaccessible deep crevice on the upper level of the cave. They were exceptionally well preserved, discovered along with their hilts and sheaths made of leather, wood, or metal. 3 of the swords are Roman spatha, with blades measuring 60 to 65 centimeters long, while the 4th has a round hilt, is shorter, and measures 45 centimeters. According to researchers, these weapons may have been war trophies from the Roman army during the Roman occupation of the Judean region. After the discovery of the swords, archaeologists conducted extensive excavations in the cave, uncovering more artifacts from the Paleolithic period around 6,000 years ago, as well as from the Roman era around 2,000 years ago. Additionally, at the cave entrance, researchers found a bar kappa copper coin dating from 132 to 135 AD, which corresponds to the time when the swords were likely deposited. This date aligns with the period of the Bar Kokhba revolt, a Jewish uprising against Roman rule in Judea, led by the rebel leader Simon Bar Kokhba. The ancient Maya city of Lagunanita. The civilization of the Maya remains one of the most mysterious and intriguing puzzles, sparking scientific exploration. One of the legacies they left for future generations is their architectural works, sites, and strange symbols. The ancient city of Lagunanita is one of the surviving remnants of the Maya. Located in the state of Campeche on the Yucatan Peninsula, the city of Lagunanita lies hidden in the jungle, forgotten by time. The Maya city existed between 1000 and 600 BC. Among the ruins, archaeologists discovered a full array of structures, including pyramids, fortifications, and houses, proving that the city was once a thriving metropolis. According to archaeologists, the 2 cities recently uncovered reached their peak between 600 and 1000 AD. The research team found buildings resembling palaces, pyramids, and marketplaces. One of the pyramids is 20 meters tall. A massive stone stela is buried in the earth at Tamchin. Most of the structures are now distorted due to the cities being abandoned 1,000 years ago. These ruins of the ancient Maya city were found in the dense jungle at the center of the Yucatan Peninsula, in the southeastern part of Campeche, Mexico, a region with thick vegetation that is nearly inaccessible to humans. Apollo spacecraft rocket engines. The rocket engines of the Apollo spacecraft, which had been lying at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean for 40 years, were recovered by an exploration team led by Jeff Bezos, the founder of the online retail giant Amazon.com. Jeff Bezos announced on his website, "We discovered a lot. We saw an underwater wonderland, an extraordinary sculpture with a twisted F1 engine garden, echoing a violent end that served as a testament to the Apollo program." According to Bezos, the engines are located at a depth of 4,170 meters off the coast of Cape Canaveral in Florida. About a year ago, Bezos announced that his private exploration team had pinpointed these old devices at the deep ocean floor, which he believed were the rocket engines of the Apollo 11 spacecraft, launched in 1969 for the first manned mission to the moon. Charles Bolden, the administrator of NASA, announced on March 20th, "Nearly a year ago, Jeff Bezos shared with us his plan to recover the F1 rocket engines. We share in his excitement and that of his team as they announced the recovery of 2 of the first stage engines of the Saturn V rocket, located deep at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean." Cannibal shipwreck in the Arctic. In the mid-19th century, the first human skeletons were discovered in the Arctic seas off the coast of Canada, believed to belong to the crew of the ill-fated HMS Erebus. The first 2 skeletons were found on the coast of King William Island in 1859, belonging to 2 men who had been dead for a long time. 10 years later, another skeleton was found on the same beach. By 1879, 6 more white skeletons were discovered, with additional remains found in 1932, 1987, and 1992, all unburied. Some of the remains showed tooth marks from rodents, and more disturbingly, some skeletons exhibited signs of flesh being stripped, mainly on the wrists. A research team from Canada confirmed that these were the crew members of HMS Erebus, led by Captain John Franklin, who became trapped in ice near King William Island in 1846, about 200 nautical miles northwest of Toronto, Canada, leading to the deaths of 129 men. John Geiger, a member of the research team and president of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society, stated, "The ship is in an incredible condition. It's like we're on the moon." Additionally, another ship that accompanied the Erebus, HMS Terror, has yet to be found. Both ships disappeared during the Northwest Passage expedition, a sea route connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through the Arctic. According to a record found on a rock outcrop, after 2 years stuck in the Arctic, the crew dwindled from 129 to just 105 men, including Captain Franklin, who died. The remaining survivors abandoned the ship due to the lack of food, wandering on the ice, which accelerated their deaths. According to 19th century records from the indigenous Inuit people, the crew members died from disease and lead poisoning caused by canned food. There is also an unconfirmed theory that the crew resorted to cannibalism to survive while awaiting rescue. Evidence of this includes cut marks on bones, especially on the wrists, found on several skeletons. Is our current civilization the greatest humanity has ever witnessed? Or is it merely a small part of many great civilizations in a cyclical span of distant history? The answer may lie at the bottom of the oceans, deep within the earth, or even in the ancient tombs from hundreds or thousands of years ago. So, what do you think? Which discovery impressed you the most from the ones mentioned above? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss out on future discoveries. For now, the video must come to a close. Thank you all. Goodbye and see you next time.